time we stopped, there was oil coming out the bottom. Because the screw, every time I tighten it, it would go. I would tighten it and then it would go loose. So I think we need to do a screw under there. Be honest.
I was thinking we need a new person tightening the bolt.
Dad, okay, when we go tighten it, Dad, I want you to tighten.
What do you say, Caleb? You think everything's right? The new person tightening the bolt?
Oh my God.
Carter, your mechanical skills suck, man. Even for a 13-year-old, your mechanical skills suck.
Okay.
So anyway, I get done with this live. We'll get down there in the shop. I'll send you a text or something, and we'll see if we can get your four-wheeler. No, because you ain't allowed in my shop yet. Remember that huge mess you made?
I just want to go show them.
Well, you can show them when I get done with this and we all get down there. Because I don't want you getting no harebrained ideas about what you're going to zip tie to that dang thing.
Well, you know, the speaker was going to be the only thing to it, but...
Have you still got the speaker?
Mm-mm. Mom put it back. I want to go get one today. Because if we're going to work on it today, I want to go get a speaker today.
We're not going to go get one today, Carter. Let's just focus on getting your four-wheeler running, man.
I know. But you know, in the GMC, you know how the thing works?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. We took the thing out and we put it in the GMC charger thing, and it didn't work. So there was like an outlet thing.
Okay, we'll figure that. Let's get your four-wheeler done first, one step at a time, man. A speaker on your four-wheeler ain't no good if the four-wheeler ain't running.
I'm just mad. I spent $120 and waited a week for it to come in, and then it doesn't work.
Well, again, it might be the person wiring the thing up.
Dad, no, it was not.
Mm-hmm.
I did everything right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Zach even and Mom even said I was doing it right.
Mm-hmm. What does Mom know about electrical stuff?
Well, Zach said I was doing it right.
What does Zach know about electrical
stuff?
stuff?
So I unscrewed it from the battery, the screws, and I put it under the screw and then tightened the screw up. Is that what you did to your 4-tracks?
Are you sure you hooked the red wire to the red wire?
Yes,
and the black
I
wire
did.
to the
black
wire?
one was the negative, and then the red one was the positive. See, I told you, I'm smart.
Anyway.
That's debatable.
I'll let you know when I'm ready to come
Did you
down
have a
there.
4-track? Mm-hmm. I wanted to get a 4-track. Some things are tough.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Why does everybody put alcohol?
Alright guys, we'll try this. I got good internet going through my GoPro, but it still gives me, it still just randomly cuts off. I don't know why, but we'll give this a try for a little while. So, let you know where we're at. Rainy day at the shop, or office, had a rainy day yesterday. It's supposed to be sunshine and wind today. It was for part of the day, and then we were about to go to the field. We're actually going to harvest our corn maze, and then guess what? Another band of rain come through. So we're done for the day. I'm just sitting here on the computer updating my records and everything from wheat planting and harvest and everything else, and that's what we're doing. So hadn't been able to really communicate with y'all in a while, so now's your chance. You got any burning questions about what you've seen of our operation so far this year, let me have them, and I'll do my best to answer it. I'll do this 30, 45 minutes or so, depending on how well it goes. You saw Carter in here, got to help him with his four-wheeler this evening while we actually got a little bit of break, try and get that done. So let me know what you got. Evan said hi. Hey, Evan. And hey, Greg Rhodes. Appreciate y'all tuning in. You got 11 guys in here. I know this is kind of sudden, spur of the moment, so I really don't expect a whole lot of people. Plus, it's the middle of the day. Most people there, I'm sure, are still working. Unless you happen to be some of our overseas viewers, which surprisingly, we have a few of. I had a guy from Denmark comment on our post before. I think I had some from Australia, so can't believe that our channel has actually grown enough to expand overseas, and the guys watching overseas actually have kept up with us, considering they probably can't understand what I'm saying due to my southern accent. So I find that pretty fascinating. Evan got the first question. Did History stop making the American Farm TV show? Last thing we heard from History, we filmed in 18. It aired in April and May of 19, and the last communication we had from History was June of 19, saying that the future of the show was being evaluated. Well, I'm sure we can all read between the lines, and we know what that means. So the show has not been officially been canceled, to my knowledge. It's just in limbo status. We did hear some rumors that before the COVID pandemic, that History was kind of shopping that show around to other networks. I think like Hulu and potentially some other TV networks about continuing it, but then, COVID happened and pretty much threw everything into disarray. And we haven't heard anything at all. I will tell you though, we did a stint on the CBN, regarding my wreck, which I put that clip on our channel. There's also another documentary film that is being edited right now about agriculture, environment, that kind of thing. We participated in that. Don't really know when it's going to be released or exactly how it's going to be released. It's not really one of those mainstream videos. And then here in the last couple of days, we've actually been in talks with another production company about a farm-related documentary series. That's probably about all I can say about that to this point. I don't think it'll be an American farm style docu-series, I believe, but it won't be mainly for entertainment with, the drama amped up and stuff from what discussions we've had. So anyway, that's probably about all I can say about that. We're in the extremely preliminary stages of that. There's a probably 97% chance that actually nothing would come about that. So, but anyway, there is that in the works. Greg Rose said he liked the cotton pick of us. I appreciate that. We got some. Kelly took some pictures with her camera, but the one you saw was one I took with my. It was one that I took with my GoPro. It's actually kind of tough getting a good cotton pick this year because I know I hadn't shown any videos of cotton, but I'll just go ahead and tell you up front, it was awful. Worst cotton crop we've had in 14 years. So anyway, I'll cover that extensively in upcoming videos. All right, Tim Nichols says hello. Bryson Riley says, do not listen to other people because they can be wrong. Not really sure what you're referring to, but Wilk Farms says, how big are you going with the new grain setup? The holding tank that just recently got completed, again, that'll be in another video. It's going to be 2,100 bushels. So finally got it up and going here just a few weeks before we actually start getting to use it. So that's like the first piece of equipment I think that I've bought and didn't have to wait like almost a whole year to begin using. Normally when we buy equipment, we buy it in the winter and then we don't get to use it until the following season. So you always kind of antsy seeing that equipment under the shed, but not really being able to use it. But this unloading bin, we'll get to use it here pretty soon. Tim, snow here in eastern Iowa. Really? Snow? I mean, I guess it really doesn't surprise me, but dadgum, man. We're still a couple of weeks from Thanksgiving, already getting snow. We do have a cold, this rain band to come through was like in advance of a cold front here. So I think we're supposed to get a low of 29 tomorrow night, which we have spells like that. Not really unreasonable. Ricky Spinhouse asks, is the camera audio fixed for the videos? I kind of explained this in a video I posted a couple of days ago, the problems with the audio. The problem is not with my cameras or anything like that. The problem is in Adobe Premiere, which is the editing software that I use to stitch all of our raw videos together, cut them down, edit them and everything else, and put it into a video that you actually watch. And something is happening in the export process that I've never seen happen before. Never even heard about it. Like I made the video about my drone review. I filmed that yesterday. I made that yesterday, and I had to export that thing 3 times I actually had to render the video and export it out 3 times before I got it right because there was audio missing. Anyway, I did some research online, and that's a problem that is just randomly popped up. I don't know why the software it's not gotten any recent updates. I don't know why it's doing it, but what I'm having to go through a couple extra steps now. I'm having to export the audio when I render the video. I'm having to export the audio first separately by itself, then bring it back into the software, put it on the timeline to cover up the original audio, and then export the whole thing again. And it's working. So I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what caused the problem. There's a workaround around it. So I think there's 2 more videos that I'd already previously made coming out. One of them I'm hoping to have come out tomorrow, and then the other one that will probably be 2 to 3 days after that. There's a good chance there might be some missing audio in that. I can't go back and fix it because I've already deleted my project and all the clips associated with that project. All I've got is the one single file, so I can't fix it. So if y'all can bear with it through the next 1 or 2 videos, then hope the problem should be gone by then. Because everything you'll see after that will be freshly made videos that I'll make sure doesn't have that problem. Josh Hoey asks, how much does a cotton module weigh? Well, I guess it depends. Are you talking about round modules or the rectangular modules that we do? The rectangular modules that we do, say there's 15 bales in there times 490 pounds of bale. It's got about 7,350 pounds of length, but you also got the seat in there, so say divide that by 40%. The modules, the big rectangular modules, depending on how big you build them, weigh anywhere from say 15,000 pounds to 22,000 pounds. Like I said, just depending on how much you pack it and how tall you build them. Evan D asks, besides Case, what other combine brands would you look at if you planning to switch brands? Honestly, Evan, if I couldn't run a Case IH combine, I don't even know if I'd even mess with grain. I mean, there's other good brands out there. I mean, John Deere is overcomplicated and overpriced, but I mean, they do a good job. I really wouldn't want to work on them, and there's a lot of features on my Case that John Deere doesn't have, and there's really not hardly any. There might be one feature on the John Deere that I like that Case IH doesn't have. With John Deere, you still got belts driving a lot of stuff, especially your rotor, your feeder house, where on the Case IH, all that stuff is driven by shaft and the CVT. So on the Case IH, I can reverse the rotor from the cab. If it gets plugged up, I can reverse the rotor from the cab. John Deere, you can't do that. I imagine you got to do it like the older cases. You got to get out there with a big rocking wrench and manually reverse it if you were to choke it up. And there's just a lot of features that I like on the Case IH. John Deere, John Deere's gone crazy with all their emissions, whereas Case IH is simple. Case IH or CNH stuff typically has they typically just have the DEF system, which is an after treatment of the exhaust for emissions, whereas John Deere, you got variable rate turbochargers, EGR exhaust gas recirculations, you got diesel particulate filters, you've also got DEF. So I mean, you just got a lot of overly complicated stuff that can cause problems. I mean, those are really the only 2 major brands around here. New Holland combines, I mean, are like almost non-existent. And I love New Holland tractors, but I'm not a real big fan of the New Holland design. Just seems difficult to work on. Gleaner, I mean, heck, in the past, Gleaner didn't even think enough of their combines to paint them. It was all galvanized. But I mean, I hear that they're a pretty good design. But again, getting dealership service in this area, probably not going to happen. AGCO as a whole, from what I hear, is just not a really well-run organization. Any of the Lexion combines, again, no dealership service. I know they're good combines, real heavily built, but there's no dealership service. So if it weren't for Case, I guess I'd have no choice but to run a John Deere, but I probably wouldn't enjoy it near as much, to be honest with you. Bryson Riley asks, do you have John Deere, though? John Deere treader. I guess I mean tractor. I got one John Deere tractor. It's a 1981 or 82 model John Deere 4440. I mean, that's back when John Deere was heavily built, solidly built, and they were simple. I mean, that tractor's extremely simple. I could fix anything on it that I wanted to. You don't have a bunch of electronics driving it like you do on the modern equipment, which I'm limited in my capacity to fix that kind of stuff. So again, I don't have anything against John Deere. Just for our operation, I think that there's, except for some pieces of equipment, I think there's better options out there. Like the John Deere cotton picker, by far the best cotton picker out there. I mean, you only got two manufacturers making cotton pickers. Case IH, which I think last I heard makes like 6 or 7 cotton pickers total in a year. Then you got the John Deere system, and I mean, by far the John Deeres are the most efficient, well-made cotton harvesters out there with their round bale design. I mean, it's a fascinating, amazing machine. And one of these days, hopefully, I'll be able to have one. The problem is the price tag on them. The newest ones that they just released are going to go for over $1 million. I mean, spend over $1 million for a piece of equipment you only use about 2 weeks out of the year. And that's a pretty tough pill to swallow. But some of the earliest models, round bale pickers, they're starting to get down in a price range where I could at least start considering it. I've seen some around there $250,000, $300,000. The problem is how much work is it you have to put into that machine to get it up to snuff. You can, to rebuild 6 cotton picker heads, you're easily looking between $75,000 and $100,000 to completely rebuild them, which you got to add that to the cost of the machine if it actually needs it. So, also got John Deere sprayer. I love that R series sprayer. I don't like the emission system on it. It hasn't given us problems yet, but at some point it will. It's got the EGR. It's got the DPF, and you also got to use DEF. But as far as operating the sprayer, the way it's designed and laid out, the way the boom's designed, I absolutely love that sprayer. Zach loves the sprayer. Kelly loves the sprayer. I mean, it's a great sprayer. I've operated it, and I've operated a Case IH Patriot sprayer, and I think hands down the John Deere sprayer is much better than the Case IH. And there's other great sprayers out there. You got Hagee, you got Miller. You got Rogator, although Rogator's an AGCO product, but those Millers and Hagees, I know they're great. Problem is just no service in this area, and those, you want to talk about high, those sprayers really, really are high. So we really don't have, we're not married to any one brand. We think each manufacturer has its pluses and minuses on the equipment, and we buy what we can afford and which one we think offers us the best value for our money. In our case, it's New Holland tractors, John Deere cotton picker, John Deere sprayer, Case IH combine. That's generally the way it works. That doesn't mean it'll always be that way, but that's the way it is right now. Hey, Bailey Farms, how are you doing too? Joseph Gladys says, West Tennessee here. Whereabouts in West Tennessee are you? Ricky Spinhouse, how much is it to get your tractor shipped to the dealer? You mean if like the dealer's got to come pick it up? Well, that very rarely happens. I mean, most of the time our dealers are within driving distance of the tractor if we need to. The farthest dealer that we use away is an hour by car. 2.5 to 3 hours by tractor, and we've actually drove a tractor up there. We drove our combine back when a hauler wasn't around, but I don't really pay that much attention to the bill. Maybe $200-300 or so for them to come pick it up, I guess. Then Neil Botts asks a good question. What's your cover crop going to be worth to you since the price of nitrogen has already doubled in the last few months? Well, Neil, it's $1 million question. A lot of it depends on this winter and how good of a stand we got. I typically figure max a cover crop is going to supply me around 40 pounds of nitrogen. If we got a good consistent stand, if all the legumes nodulate and everything, and we have good growing weather during the winter and spring to where we can get enough biomass on the crops. So it's really kind of something we feel out. I do know on my cotton ground, we really don't depend on nitrogen production that much for corn. Anything we get, I kind of consider it as a bonus, but we're not where we want to be yet with our soil health to where we can start crediting, say, 20, 30, 40 pounds of nitrogen to legumes behind our corn crop. And a large part of that is the bulk of our corn crop is planted behind wheat and double crop soybeans. Double crop soybeans is usually, not this year, but usually the last crop that we harvest. And then it's going back into the soonest crop that we will plant the next spring. So you really don't have much of a growing window for legumes. So our nitrogen producing potential of cover crops is typically not that great when going into corn. A lot of it depends on the winter. Now on cotton, that's typically the opposite. Cotton goes behind corn. Corn is the first thing we harvest in the fall, and cotton is usually the last thing we plant in the spring until we plant our double crop beans. So you got the longest growing season for your cover crops. So I know on my cotton ground we've cut our nitrogen in half from 80 pounds an acre down to 40 pounds an acre. And now our soil health is progressing to where it needs to be, where the organic matter in the soil is supplying nitrogen to the crop that I can't get my cotton crop to shut down when I need it to at the foliating time. It wants to keep on going. So that tells me we can reduce our nitrogen rates even further. So next year we'll probably go from 40 pounds an acre down to 30 pounds an acre. It's what I'm thinking. That's just speculation right now. A lot could change depending on how many acres of cotton I plant, the price of nitrogen, price of cotton, all that kind of stuff next year. So it's kind of guessing, but that's kind of my thinking behind it. Bryson Riley, do old John Deere tractors work better than new tractors? I mean, look, they work about the same. If you got the horsepower to pull something, if you got the hydraulic capacity to pull something, they'll still do the same amount of work. They just typically don't do it as efficiently or in as much comfort as what the newer ones do. A comparatively rated horsepower tractor, 250 horsepower tractor, if it's got front wheel drive, an old one will do the same amount of work as a new 250 horsepower tractor with front wheel drive. I mean, it's the way it is, but some of the controls a lot of the controls will be better. The hydraulics will typically be better. Probably have more gears to choose from to fine tune your operations in the field. But I mean, is that new tractor, is it worth an extra $225,000 over an older tractor? Probably not. But that's why a lot of these older John Deere tractors, the 40 series, the 50 series, that's why you still see a lot of them around on the farm. They won't be as good when dealing with like putting GPS on them is not going to be easy. All the electronics you need to run your high technology planters, fertilizer spreaders, that kind of stuff is not there to support all that. So that's really kind of where you run into problems, because a lot of these implements that we use need a lot of electrical capacity. You got CAN buses and everything you got to tie into to make your monitors work with equipment and all that kind of stuff. So that's really where your older tractors fall short. But just for like a tillage operation, an old John Deere tractor, they'll do the same amount of work as a new John Deere tractor as long as the horsepower is the same. All right, Joseph says he's from Chester County. I know several folks down in Chester County and do some business down there, especially like Henderson Chester with First Farmers Co-op and Henderson. Do a lot of business with them. Tom Root says the old John Deere sounds so good. Tom, I'm not going to argue with you on that. You're definitely right. They definitely got a unique sound to them, especially when they're idle down. You do a cold start on them. They got you can hear them canning pretty good. Definitely got a real good sound to them. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna show you a little bit here what I'm working on while I wait on more questions. How did my internet decide to stop working all of a sudden? I'll put this up. Let's see what we're doing here. All right, show you a little bit of what we're doing here. Getting all my prices and invoices from this fall wheat plan. Like here's some fertilizer that we applied. This bill from Co-op. We got ammonium sulfate, urea, and then I also got them to spread it for me. But just look at the price of ammonium sulfate: $510 a ton, $790 a ton for urea. And what I'm doing is I'm updating my prices in my software here. You go to fertilizers. All right, you saw on that invoice paid $790 a ton for urea. Well, let's see. Back when we last applied urea back this summer, it was $412 a ton, but that's adding the Nutrisphere on it. So the actual cost of the urea itself was below $400 a ton. Ammonium sulfate was what did it say, $510 a ton. Last I bought back this spring, $360 a ton. See, I didn't check potash. Potash wasn't on that one. There we go. All right, on this one it got potash. $660 a ton on potash. And then last potash I put out back in early summer, $320 a ton right there. So I know y'all are did this thing just die on me again? Well, it's still, live stream's still going on. Okay, just make sure I didn't lose y'all. So I know y'all as consumers, you go to any kind of store, you notice how much prices have gone up, gas has gone up, but that's kind of what we're dealing with in agriculture. Chemicals have gone sky high, if you can even get them, like our glyphosate, our glufosinate, some of the most popular herbicides, if you can even find them, have more than doubled in price, and there's really no end in sight. Same way with fertilizer. I mean, we can't afford to put a crop in with those prices, not without severely cutting our fertilizer rate. But I've kind of been working towards this day for several years now. We fertilized heavily in the past to build up our soils to where now I can go back and I can apply just the nutrients that we removed to get our soils back to where they were. And that's going to be a lot cheaper than fertilizing for what you hope to make next year. So, plus we got chicken litter is another option, which right now, price-wise, for the nutrients you get is really attractive. So that's several ways that we're mitigating the high cost here, and we're able to do that because we kind of planned for this day in the past. And hopefully we'll be, as long as we get the product, hopefully we'll be able to navigate this pretty good. Hello, Minnesota, Oliver, and Deere. Josh said about 5 minutes from the co-op. Well, I've been down there quite a while. Might have driven right by your house. Minnesota, Oliver, and Deere asks, have I ever looked again at a John Deere 62 NR? No, I mean, I really don't. I really don't pay any attention to John Deere tractors and their models. I've got no desire to own one. Really don't even know their numbers or whatever. I believe it's 6210. That's more a smaller tractor, kind of compared to our New Holland T6010 that we got on the front end loader. Probably a little bit bigger than that, but same class, and we really don't have much use for that size of a tractor. Bryson Riley asked, what brand is my combine? I got a Case IH 7120. Tom Rutt, don't blame me. I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump too, but we're all in the same boat. We all got to deal with everything that's going on, just like everybody else. I try not to assess blame just because I disagree with somebody else's opinion, whether it be religious, political, personal opinion. I try not to blame somebody else or lay all the blame just because I disagree with them. Because even though I think I'm right, there's no law that says I'm right. So, but yes, my opinion is our current administration is definitely not doing the American people any kind of favors, and I'm really scared what's to come in the future. I mean, just when you think that things really can't get any worse, you look on the news and it keeps on getting more and more extreme, and just the lack of common sense in a lot of our elected officials. And it's not just Democrats. I mean, I know there's some Republicans that I've heard some crazy things come out of their mouths too. It's the lack of common sense from our elected officials. A lot of these left-wing radical groups that, you know, scream and yell louder than anybody else. What we hear from the media is just completely blows my mind. I don't understand it. I mean, I kind of do understand it because, I mean, if you're a Christian like I am, and you've read the Bible and read Revelations, a lot of things that I think we're seeing are really fitting right in with what Revelation has predicted. Might not necessarily be in the end times, but sure wouldn't surprise me if we're very close to it, because I think we've hit that point to where there's really no turning around and correcting a lot of what's going on. It's gone too far to the left, and I don't think it'll ever get turned around again. But again, that's my personal opinion. Definitely don't mean I'm right. It definitely doesn't mean you need to believe it. But thought I'd share that with you. Minnesota Oliver Deere asks, ever thought of baling your wheat straw? Oh yeah, in fact, we've done it in the past. You know, we used to grow hybrid Bermuda hay for horse customers, so we had a baler, and I did some custom baling for neighbors who sold wheat straw. I actually sold them some of my wheat straw. But you look at the numbers with right now, you look at the numbers at what the fertilizer removes in every bale of straw. There's no way you could sell the straw for enough to pay for the nutrients you're removing from the field in that straw. I mean, you would actually be losing money trying to make a profit with straw. At least in this area. Maybe in other parts of the country, straw brings a lot more, but you know, around here at $3 to $5 a bale, I mean, you would lose money, because then you have to go back and replenish those nutrients with fertilizer. I just showed you what fertilizer prices cost. It wouldn't do it. And then not only that, there's a lot of organic matter in that straw that makes your soil healthy that you're pulling off. It's gone. So you're leaving less food out there for your soil microbes and feeding your soil health too. So it's not anything I'd consider right now. I know a guy approached me 2 wheat harvests ago. He was wanting to bale some straw off of me and sell it. And I told him what I had to have for it. I didn't hear back from him again, because and that wasn't me making any kind of profit on it all. I told him, look, this is my cost on it. Every bale of straw you pull off this farm is going to cost me this much money. This is the minimum I need to have for it. And he wouldn't pay it. Joseph said, let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Eridad says, I don't want to hear about American politics. I'm Canadian. Well, I mean, sorry. You're watching an American YouTube channel. Can't help that. Gee SSS. How do you pronounce that one? You commented quite a bit on my videos. I don't exactly know how you how you pronounce that. Says, now that the world is falling apart, anyone miss Trump and his mean tweets? I mean, I got upset over what he tweeted. Just I could care less what somebody tweets. Now I do agree that former President Trump was not very presidential with his tweets. I do think that, and I didn't necessarily like that, but I didn't get butthurt over it. I don't understand people getting so upset over what somebody says on social media. I could care less. I will say this though. While I was a big supporter of President Trump, not necessarily President Trump the man, because I really don't think he was a great man, I was a huge supporter of his policies. I mean, a big supporter of his policies. That being said, a lot of y'all may disagree with me. If he ran for president again, I probably wouldn't vote for him because I would be scared to death, knowing his personality and everything I saw at the end of his term, that he would spend, if he got elected, he would spend the next 4 years just being vindictive and just trying to get back at everybody that talked bad about him, rather than focusing on what this country needed and doing the right thing for this country. I think it would be 4 years of just trying to get payback to everybody, unfortunately. But I do agree with his policies. I agree with a lot of his thinking, and hopefully we can get a Republican nominee that mirrors a lot of that, because I think I think the whole American government is pretty much corrupt. Our founding fathers never intended for there to be life. They never intended a politician to be a career. I believe they intended for people, normal people in every walks of life, every business in life, to run for election, do their term, then go back to their jobs. I don't think they ever intended for anybody to be a career politician. And I mean, and that's what we're seeing. I mean, I think most everybody that's been in politics in a while is corrupt to some degree, and they do it to stay in power. That's my opinion, and I think it's both sides of the aisle. It's not just Democrats. I guarantee you, there's plenty of Republicans out there just as crooked as they can be. So I think the solution to a lot of that is there needs to be term limits on every elected official. There needs to be term limits. There needs to be term limits on judges. And a lot of people say, well, term limits apply, or they do have term limits. You can choose to vote them out of office. Most people, when they go to vote, they vote for the name that they recognize, and the guys that have been in power the longest are going to be the ones that they're going to recognize. So presidents have term limits. I don't see why our congressmen and senators shouldn't have term limits. But again, that's just my opinion. Wheat straw in the mushroom industry on the East Coast company buy straw all over the USA. The reason why I'm asking is I'm on a custom baling crew. Be interested to hear what y'all charge, or what y'all buy straw per ton for. Bryson Riley says, if you plant corn and then you bale the stalks, it is such a mess. I've seen corn stalks baled. For one thing, I wouldn't want to feed my cattle the corn stalks. I know some people have done it in drought years just because there was nothing else for the cattle to eat, so they did bale some corn stalks. But yeah, the ground was pretty bare after that. All right, guys. Some of y'all getting a little quiet. I'll tell you a little quickly about the day we had today. I had everything planned out. Going to get everything ready to go back to go to the field. I was going to do this computer work. Going to do it this morning. Zach was going to do some bush hogging stuff, and hopefully we were going to get back into the field this afternoon. We were going to go harvest the corn maze with our combine and draper header, because we've already got our corn header finished up, and well, went out here very long and everything went to hell. Look behind me. There's a computer supposed to be sitting there. Well, it's no longer sitting there because when I got it here this morning, it would not fire up. And that computer is geez, at least 10 plus years old. Got farm space out here. The guys that I bought my drone from, one of the guys does computer work on the side. Had him look at the computer. I think the power source went out. I've been looking at getting a new desktop here for over the last year. The problem is there's such a shortage of computer chips. Building the computer I want with the specs I need is either going to be almost impossible right now or prohibitively expensive. And just a lot of the package deals that these places offer, just some of them have one good aspect of it, but then the other part of it I don't like, and I'm not about to spend $2,000-$3,000 on a computer that really only suits half my needs. I need one with some major computing processing, some good storage, some good data transfer for all my movie editing. So he took the computer with him. Hopefully he can get it to come back on to at least get me by until things kind of simmer down a little bit with all these markets and availability becomes available and I can get my computer built. And I certainly hope that the freaking hard drive did not crash, because there's a lot of data on there. We started transferring a lot of our important data to the cloud, but still there's still a lot of stuff on there, records and stuff, spreadsheets and stuff I created on there that I sure hope we didn't lose. And then we got the combine out, got it fueled up, and about to go cut the corn maze, and saw clouds coming in, checked my radar, and another band of rain. And there was a 0% chance of rain today. Don't even know where it come from, but we didn't get that much, but it knocked us out the rest of today. Now, anyway, where we're at in the harvest process, I know y'all are like 3 weeks behind on what you've seen as far as our videos go, but we've gotten our cotton picked, we've gotten the majority of our wheat planted, we've gotten the majority of our double crop soybeans planted. So like about 2 days of wheat planting and then about a day and a half of soybean cutting, and we will be done. And we got a good stretch of weather coming up this week. Should not be any problem at all getting it done this week. So looking like we're going to be done a little bit earlier than we have been the last several years, which is exciting. I'd love to get a little bit of equipment cleaned up before Thanksgiving. Hopefully ease up some of the work that we've got to do in December. Maybe I'll be able to enjoy the holidays a little bit more. But that's where we're at. I'll get y'all caught up eventually on the videos. Every bit of it's been recorded. I've got check my hard drive. I got 500 gigabytes worth of video to put together and show y'all, and it'll get done over the coming weeks. Y'all not gonna miss out on it, but it might take a while to get everything edited and get it out there. And Thomas Creighton says, how about the farmers set up, I'm guessing this ain't co-op, to sell grain products higher price to cover the inflation of fuel and chemicals going up? Really not sure what you're saying there, Thomas. Bryson Riley asks, how many acres do you have? We farmed 1,600 physical acres this year, but about 500 of those acres we double crop. We got wheat and then soybeans follow behind it. So essentially we go over 2,100 acres a year, if you want to look at it that way. We do 2,100 acres a year off of 1,600 physical acres. If that makes any sense. Joe Grove says, got sleet today in central Illinois. Man, I feel for y'all. And here I'm complaining about 40-degree weather tonight and getting cold and all that kind of stuff. GS says, watched a video about the West Coast ports. The problem is they can only stack containers 2 high, whereas the other ports are 6 to 8 high. I don't know. I've seen a lot of different opinions about what the problem is. As far as California, they had a new law come out for companies, and my understanding of the law is that a lot of these trucking companies that hire independent truckers to haul for them must then must now treat those independent truckers like employees. Instead of contract labor, you got to treat them like employees, which I'm assuming entails, you got to take payroll taxes, you got to provide benefits, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff that companies do for their employees, even though these guys are contract haulers. And I think that is, from what I've heard, that's prevented a lot of trucks from even being able to do any business in California, to bring all that cargo from the shipyards on the West Coast into America. From what I've heard, there's a shortage of, trucks available to do that. And I'm sure there's a lot of other problems going on. That's just what I've heard. I try not to worry too much about it. I mean, not like I can do anything about it unless I were to get elected dictator for life, then I do something about it, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. GS just commented, they also outlawed independent truckers from accessing the ports. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Minnesota Oliver Deere. Matt, if you want to see what the crew is like, I posted some video of baling straw in North Carolina, pictures and lots of video. Yeah, I'd like to send me a link to your videos or the YouTube channel. Just leave it in the comments. I'd like to check that out. Appreciate that. And GS says Biden has begun taxing containers $100 per day per container if there are more than 24,000 containers offshore. I heard a little something about that. I mean, was Biden acting like that nobody wants to do the work, nobody wants the goods, nobody wants to haul in? I mean, it's regulations. Our problem is too big of a government, too much government, and too many regulations. That's my opinion. You ease some regulations, guess what? You're going to get some stuff done. What?
I just wanted to be in your vlog.
You want to be in my vlog? Well, come on in and say hi to everybody.
I want to go. Yes.
Okay, Caleb, you want to come be seen by 17 people?
17 people.
17, man.
I figured you have way more. You have like 10,000 subscribers.
My son Carter. This is his friend Caleb.
Let's see what we look like on
that. Don't touch anything. You're gonna freaking screw it up.
I want to see what we look like on there.
You don't look like anything.
Do I look good?
Not
Wait,
with,
I was in there?
Not with your hair, you don't look good.
I've been in there today.
You look like Carrot Top, man.
Leave me alone. Should I grow out a mullet?
Oh. It looks better than what you got now.
I was already in there today. When I came in here earlier, was I in here?
Yeah.
I was. Okay.
And then the camera stopped recording because it saw you.
Wow. Okay. That was not funny.
I would say the camera broke, but that would be mean.
Still working. I'm assuming hurts this morning.
Are you ready to go work on your 4-wheeler?
Look, this is what we've done. We've walked down to the pond. We walked through all our mud holes. We walked. I even went up to the new drain.
I ain't about to go help you fix your 4-wheeler just for you to sink it in a freaking mud hole again.
Listen, I went up to the new grain bin thing. I walked up the new ladder, the new steps. We walked all the way to the control. I got in the cotton trailer.
Y'all go play in the cotton?
He couldn't get in. We got to get the forklift. I could barely get in. I'm not saying fat jokes or anything, but like the steps are this big.
Peyton didn't have any problem getting in.
The steps are this big.
And?
I'm gonna get the forklift.
No, the forklift is broke.
Are you working tomorrow?
Yeah.
Where? Here?
I don't know, depending on what I decide to do in the morning. Probably gonna go cut the corn maze.
So we'll be able to ride in the morning if my forklift works.
It's a big if right now.
I know.
Big if.
It's gonna work though. Cause I know what's wrong with it.
Maybe with me turning the wrenches, yeah. You probably.
Oh, I know what's wrong. I know the dipstick wasn't tight enough. I just know.
We'll see about that.
I want to see how many hertz are these monitors? I don't want them. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
See how much. I forgot. There's no 1 gigabyte of RAM computer in there.
Yes, Carter. That's a very old computer. All right, guys. Anyway, y'all gotten quiet. I got to go help this redhead with his 4-wheeler, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. Appreciate y'all watching. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have a new video up. Y'all be sure to check back then, and we'll do another live here sometime. Maybe we can talk old Dylan Joyce into coming back down and doing another live with us too. It was a whole lot of fun with that. So anyway, guys, great questions. Appreciated interacting with you. We'll do it again soon.